So I guess with that being said, how do the Niners, I guess, come up with a victory on Sunday? How do you see this playing out, I guess?
They have to contain Wilson. They have to. The Cardinals did a better job of that in the first half. The Cardinals did a really terrible job of that, and he was just taking off running. He would just step back in his drop and then see a wide open lane. He would just be like, "Screw it, I'm going." And they did a much better job in like especially the fourth quarter. Like he didn't really have the lane, so I think it's going to be being very sound in your containment. That's going to be, especially in the middle. He loves to run if he sees the lanes in the middle. So Kinlaw, Armstead in the middle, contain. Don't let that C part for him.
Yeah, that's a good point because I was just about to say, like, I think Quan is back. I think he was practicing, so he may be back this week. But I think that'll be him or Warner's responsibility. If someone's playing spy, just if he's taking off up the middle, you're gonna have to go chasing after him.
Yeah.
But that's where that speed, that trade-off with the speed the backers have right now, like Niners have one of the fastest linebacker group even with Greenlaw in there. And so it kind of plays right into their hands. Like, maybe they want, Wilson to run instead of throw it. Like maybe that's part of the plan.
I would, yeah. And the nice thing about the Seahawks, if you're the Niners defense, is you don't have to worry so much about their running backs out of the backfield. And I think that helps if you're going to spy Wilson, if you're going to, you wouldn't be able to do that as well against like the Niners, let's say, because Shanahan has a lot of pass catching running backs. So he would use it. He's like, all right, if you're going to spy my quarterback, that means your linebackers over here. I'm gonna send my running back into routes, and I'm gonna roll out my quarterback, so your linebacker shifts, then dump it off to the running back into that vacated area. The Seahawks really don't have that. So that's kind of the nice thing. It helps the Niners is Warner or whoever is the spy can really just kind of focus and not have to worry about, running backs coming out of the backfield and kind of occupying their space or, coming into their territory. Outside that, don't get beat deep. Honestly, that's easier said than
that's the key one. Yeah.
Metcalf and Lockett are just studs. It's just don't get beat over the top, and that's going to be the thing, knowing your assignments and, don't get beat deep. The Niners don't have like the pass rushers we talked about, Bosa and Ford, don't have them. So, you just have to stay with your guy. And that's going to be, if they win I think a lot of the credit will go, that secondary is going to have to really show up like big.
Yeah,
big.
I think that's a good point because Seattle does so well with throwing the ball down the field. Like that's how they pick up those chunk plays. So if this defense, we talk about bend but don't break, like make them earn their way down the field, score that touchdown, right? Like make them pick up first downs multiple times down the football field in order to score, because that gives you more of a chance to stop them. And so, yeah, we talk about containing Russell Wilson. I agree. Like, don't, like you said, he loves to run right up the middle when that opens up. So if they're going to pull off stunts or whatnot as a defensive lineman, you want to make sure, you're containing Wilson at the same time. And so I expect a big game from Warner again. I expect a big game from Alexander. And we talk about, you touched on Seattle's running back group. I think Chris Carson is out. Carlos Hyde, I don't think has practiced all week.
No.
I don't know who their running back is going to be. So it's like Wilson or die right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of is what I think kind of hurt them against the Cardinals is Carson was running nice. And then Hyde was running pretty well too. And they kind of went away from it a little bit. And that's, like you said, they're pretty much, I don't, if Hyde plays, he's going to be very limited. He's not going to be anything close to 100%. And no offense to Carlos Hyde, I don't worry about Carlos Hyde. Like that's, like he's all right, but he's a journeyman for a reason. I mean, he's all right. he is what he is, but nothing that I think you're game planning against. Like, oh, we have to game plan for Carlos Hyde. Carson's a very good running back, but I mean, Hyde is what he is. Is going to be contain Wilson. I expect, like you said, the stunts. I expect to see a lot of those. Maybe those, kind of like back into the middle. And then, I mean, obviously on offense is going to be a lot of the quick passes, establish the run. I think it's going to be a super run heavy game. Move the chains, let Hasty do work. I honestly, I think Ayuk's going to have, he had a really good game last week. I think this might be his kind of breakout, just like
Let
last
him
week was kind
loose.
of a
Yep.
breakout, but this week I think might be that week where he just goes, because you're going to have to pick your poison, right? You're going to try to stop the running game. And then in the passing game, like you got to focus on Kittle, obviously. I just think Ayuk will have a lot of one-on-one matchups that I think he can take advantage of. I think he can. This is that game that he just, I kind of wish this one was on Sunday night just because I think this is the game he just lights it up and you're like, oh, this is that game that he just, on the big stage, if you will.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I really think he's going to have a nice game. And, I think Shanahan is going to try to confuse his defense, give them different looks, a lot of motions just to determine like what kind of defense they're on and attack, obviously not Bobby Wagner, but their other linebackers. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they drafted a rookie. I forget his name.
Brooks, not Brooks.
Is it Brooks?
I think it might
Oh,
be.
it might be Jordan Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah, the first rounder that everybody was like, wait, who? What?
Oh,
what?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and we're still kind of wondering who
why?
he really is. But Shanahan's really good at attacking those rookie linebackers. He did it, week 1 against
Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons, and they kind of benched him pretty quickly in that game.
Shanahan tried to end that man's career in week 1. That was
taking
impressive.
souls. Yeah, it's all about taking souls. And so the mentality here, and I kind of like the mentality the past 2 weeks, just being aggressive, being physical, because Seattle kind of was known to beat down Niners teams in the in the early part of this decade, which kind of made me super upset. But now I think the Niners are better suited for that. And with this defense, I think they're going to bring the heat and just give Kittle the ball at least 10 times, give Ayuk the ball at least 8, Hasty, give him, I mean, if I expect the way I expect this game to go, give him at least, 15, 20 carries, like seriously, just control the clock, keep Russell Wilson on the sidelines, and that's it. Like, that's your best. That's your best chance. Keeping Wilson on the sideline, eating up the clock, scoring touchdowns. That's it.
And be physical. Yeah.
Yeah, and then on defense,
and be physical.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Because I honestly feel, looking at the rosters, Niners are a better team. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm just I will call it as it is. And I've done so in the past. When I see that the Niners are not the better team, I'll call it out. But I honestly feel that the Niners are a better team and are the best team in the NFC West. Again, that could be just us being Niner fans, but that's just how I feel.
I mean, like with the Seahawks, it's obviously have Russell Wilson better than Jimmy, obviously. But I mean, if you look top to like, if you look at Seattle's defense, it's Bobby Wagner and then Griffin, I guess. Like, I mean, that's it. It kind of starts with Bobby and then kind of ends with Bobby. Niners have great defense across the board. And then offensively, like, you have Russell Wilson, who's, MVP candidate for sure. DK's good. Lockett. And then it kind of, Carson's good when he's out there, but if he's not out there, then it's like, okay, who else? Their line isn't very good. Their O-line's, I mean, kind of suspect. They, like you said, top to bottom roster wise, it's Niners. I don't think it's close. I want to see them be the one thing I want to see them do is what they did this last week. They said, take souls, be physical with the receivers, right? Lockett, Metcalf, be physical, like be the bullies. I think that's the thing that just last
Yeah.
week it was great too. They were just the bullies on both sides of the ball. And I think when you can, it reminded me they were good. They did that kind of last season, but it honestly kind of reminded me of Harbaugh's Niners. They were just bullies on both sides of the ball. They were just bullies. Even though Seattle, those Legion of Boom teams, that's what they did. They were just bullies. They hit you every
Yep.
single play. You had Marshawn Lynch on offense. You had the Legion of Boom on defense. They just hit you every play. And you knew like you're gonna get beat up. You're just gonna get just there was that stat. I think it was Niners and Seahawks during that time frame that teams that played them had it was this really bad record the next week. It was like for a stretch, it was like 2-20 or something. The very next week after they played either the Seahawks or the Niners during that time. It was some crazy stat just because they just were so beat up.
Just bruised up. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they just you limp to the next game. And I think if the Niners do what they did last week, just be the bullies. You know, I love to see just on both sides of the ball, like make Seattle feel you. I don't think Seattle can keep up. I don't think they have that. I mean, they obviously don't have a Legion of Boom. They don't have those players to kind of take that shot. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Contain
Seattle.
Wilson.
Yeah. Seattle to me it's like they're really lopsided. Like they're a juggernaut on offense, but on defense, they're terrible. They're last in the league, right?
Yeah.
So I don't like we're like talking, well, we just need edge rush and that'll be the missing piece. Like if I'm a Seattle Seahawk fan, I'm stressing on this defense in general. Like right now they're kind of blessed with Russell Wilson kind of saving the day. But when it comes playoff time, you're going to need to stop some teams. I don't think the Seahawks have that. And as a Niner fan, I feel much more comfortable because I feel like the Niners have a much more complete team around them.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I think we haven't seen Seattle. Seattle's made the playoffs, but they haven't gone for because they're slowly but surely that Legion of Boom got kind of leached away. You know, players started to leave, started getting hurt, got injured, and that's like Seattle will always make the playoffs pretty much as long as Russell Wilson there. Kind of reminds me of like the Packers. You have a shot because you have Aaron Rodgers to make the playoffs,
Exactly.
but you're trying to make that deep run and Aaron Rodgers won because that one season they won because they had that great Matthews, Woodson. I mean, they had a stellar defense. Same with the Legion of Boom. It's like that's what's going to kind of get you to the finish line. If you're just relying on the quarterback and a terrible offense, yeah, that's going to work in the regular season. But once you get to playoffs and you're playing the top teams, yeah, that's not you. You have to be a complete team, or you will get beat fairly easily.
Yeah, and Jamal Adams may help with that. We'll see, but I expect the Niners to come in there and win